Hey there guys, patch 11.2 is now out and we're going to quickly go over the patch notes together. So here are the patch notes for 11.2 and they actually put out some hotfixes really fast. So we'll go over the hotfixes first. So they fixed the rank bug causing MMR gains to lose and wins being too low in LP gains, which honestly started feeling this in stream because at one point I was gaining 9 LP and it just did not feel right, so I'm happy to see that. And they found that a lot of these champs were getting the proper attack speed. So they fixed the bug where Carthus was unable to buffer his cast his Q, Cogman was not getting his permanent attack speed from his Q, Mingo was not getting his attack speed from his empowered Q, and Viego's possessed Battle Queen and Katarina and her daggers are invisible. So just some quick bug fixes. Yeah, they patch these out really fast because it's been less than like a couple hours. Here is the little graphic here. Viego is now out, so you go into the shop and purchase some RP or blue essence. And our first change here is Akali. So they increased the energy for her Q cost at later ranks. Maximum used to be 80 and now it's 100. So this is a pretty big change here, just to make sure that Akali is actually proccing her passive and not just spamming Q. This is huge. I mean, I feel bad for Akali mains out there. They always have to deal with a lot of changes because the champ isn't inherently strong, but is when you really get down and master her. So this sucks for them, but it's always a change of playstyle and it's always a constant nerf and buff game here. Zia's Q cooldown has also been decreased at later ranks. I mean, he's probably gonna need a lot more than that. He's in a really rough spot, and I almost never see him playing anymore just because of how hard it is to play him. AD deeper level growth has been increased for Caitlyn. Looks like by 0.40 AD. That's nice. I mean, might as well. Anything helps, right? Passive Noxian Might bonus AD has been increased. So Noxian Might now scales higher on your bonus attack damage. So just more damage for the more AD buys, which he buys a lot of AD from Strikebreaker and Aatrox typically. So Bleed's gonna hurt a lot more. They triple buffed Mundo. Oh my god. So he gets more health on refund when he hits a cleaver. He gets all the health back on the refund if the cleaver kills, which is really nice for farming, I'd imagine. He gets bonus damage from his E for the more percent of his maximum health, so high percentage, so more ED total. That's pretty nice. And his health regen his ult went up by a sizable amount. Wait a minute. 50, 75, 100 to 60, 85, 110%. Wow, that's actually crazy. I definitely expect Mundo to be a higher priority pick. Would it be top lane or jungle? Probably jungle. I mean, it just doesn't seem like he'd do that good into the other popular top laners. But the Q change here would be really nice for him to sustain a farm and lane with it. So, or poke too as well. This is a really big changes. I definitely expect to see him go higher. At least Spider Q damage decreased later ranks. About 20 base. Definitely nerf, but don't know if that's enough. I have been seeing Elise's go crazy with Nashers and some other stuff. This is in a really weird spot, but a really strong spot, that's for sure. Ivern shield ratio from 90-80% AP. Yeah, Ivern is a little bit insanely strong right now, especially with the new Moon Staff builds going around. And he's really nuts here. The nerf to trigger shields AP ratio in patch 11.1 was only reflected in Ivern's tooltips. Oh. So they just put it in the tooltip and actually nerf him. So now he's actually nerfed. Okay, that's kind of funny. The base health regen growth is increased and Q cost decreased at later ranks. So a little bit more lane sustain on LeBlanc, and it costs a little bit less mana. Cool. Don't think it'll be that big of a change, but it'll be a nice change for sure. Maokai, E cost is increased at later ranks, damage ratio decreased. Now it costs more mana at those saplings at later ranks and deal less damage. This is a really good way to handle Maokai support actually, because no Maokai tank is putting any points into sapling. Like, it's the last ability you max. So by making it cost more mana at higher ranks is really good, so Maokai support isn't as strong. Especially when Maokai support doesn't build mana items at all. So I think that's a really cool change, and I'm all for it, because to be honest, I'm not a big fan of Maokai support. It's kind of a weird champ, and I don't like what it promotes either. Kind of brainless, but some people like it, so that's cool. I don't think this will completely kill it off, but definitely a step in the right direction, and they can kind of hammer this away and put more if they need to. Knocked in Q and R cooldowns are decreased. Nice. 2 seconds on Q, that's pretty big actually. And a couple seconds on his R as well. On max range down 10 seconds. This is really nice, especially because he builds some haste if he goes lethality and whatnot. And his Q also goes down and cooldown like per hit when he autos and stuff too, right? Oh no, that's passive. But 2 seconds off Q is huge too. These are actually pretty big changes here. I like these. These are good. I don't know if this will be enough to help him. These are probably just changes to see if he wins that VGU pull, then he gets VGU'd. I imagine with Mundo, it's like it's making Mundo strong until his rework comes through. So it's nice stuff anyways. Base movement speed and health decreased on Nunu. The movement speed is down by 5, and his health went down by 30. Nice. That'd be nice. I mean, the dude's just really high base statted. He could just roll in a snowball and stat check pretty much anyone early game if he hits that snowball. So I mean, this is a good nerf. Needs to be a bit more probably, but they don't want to, you know, make him useless. Aatrox E self healing now increases during R self healing decreased. The Umbral Dash's self healing now increases to 20 to up to 50% during R, and that when during your R, your self healing is now only 30, 40, 60%. So technically you get even more self-healing percentage than you had before if you E during your R. That makes sense. They were talking about how they didn't like that he just had 100% increased self-healing on 75 because of the fact that in his R, if he Gorge Drinkered, he would actually heal his entire health bar. And he just became almost unkillable. So it's a cool way to do it. Essentially he still has that, but only for a short time and if he E's. So interesting change for sure. They just probably want more skill into him and more clear counterplay because it was really hard to counterplay against him when he was fed and he'd be in his ult because he just always have this self healing. W lifesteal has been increased, healing amplification decreased as well. Here, they're just tuning down the healing amps that people have in their kits because the healing amps with all the new healing is insane. So the lifesteal is about up 2% every rank, and then the healing amp has been, oh my god, cut by 22%. It looks like. I guess it's based on missing health, but the max being cut by 22%. That's pretty big. Senna attack speed ratio has been up by 0.1. The passive non-kill miss Wraith drop chance has been up by 8%, no 6%. So definitely helping to support Senna here. And the gold from Miss Wraith is also increased. They definitely want to be looking for support Senna. Healing and damage ratio is up by 15% AP and 5% damage. Or AD. They give it a much stronger AP and AD ratio. I wonder if that's because they want to enforce Moonstaff build. I mean, probably not. Moonstaff is a whole nother topic of just like weird builds. They probably did this because they just want Senna to be going AP over AD. Then its Q on enemy champions now adds a stack on Kraken Slayer, max 1 stat. Really weird change. Senna is not in a good spot, and they knew it. They know it too. They want to. I don't know if it's gonna be a full scale rework, but maybe a smaller rework like a Wukong. They did say they were gonna do look into it, so they probably just want to make it a little bit better and feel better to play while that happens. Interesting change. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Passive damage increase for Shaco, 10 to 25, 20 to 35. Yeah, he honestly probably needs more than this. He's probably one of the worst junglers you could probably play just because of how little he does and how little he offers as well. Soraka Q total rejuvenation heal is increased at later ranks. W heal and W heal ratio is increased. So the total rejuvenation heal, oh, this is the base amount went up by, oh my god, wait a minute. Went up by quite a amount. Wait, so it was 90 at max and that's 110. That's pretty good, especially because you give this rejuvenation heal to someone if you have it on you and then you W them and then they get it on top of the heal from your W. Your W heal is now from 90 up to 230, so about 10 each rank, and the heal ratio is up by 10% as well. This is pretty good changes right here. Having this, just this much more healing is definitely big, especially in the meta of healing. I felt like Soraka was kind of lackluster there for some reason. This would probably push it really high in support, to be honest with you, because having 20 more health in lane and 10 more health on W and a 10% AP, it kind of just adds up, especially with how often she procs these. Really good change. Trundle, Q bonus damage ratio increased, W bonus attack speed increased. Yeah, why not? I mean, Trundle does seem like he's in a really bad spot. He's usually, but even when he is good, he's still most of the times just a counter pick into a tank to steal his stats with his ultimate. But his Q bonus attack damage ratio has been up by 5% all ranks. That's pretty decent. And his W bonus attack speed was up 10% every rank. If Trundle does do good though, and he starts being a much more popular pick, they'll probably nerf his W. His W always sees this buff and nerf all the time because when he's too strong, he's too oppressive at taking towers. So he'll have it for now, but if he does good, they'll probably take this away. Base mana growth increase, art cooldown decreased early. Mana is up by 8, or mana growth is up by 8. The cooldown of his ult went down by 20 seconds each rank. I mean, it's a nice change for sure. Just Varus is in such an odd spot because he doesn't know what kind of Varus he wants to be. If he wants to be an on-hit, he wants to be a poke-centered Varus, there just isn't much for him right now. He's one of the ADCs or just champions in all of preseason that just couldn't find an identity. He's always had an identity crisis as a whole too, so it's kind of weird. Don't know how much this change will do for him. Zoe's W minion spill shard drops updated. Oh, probably for new stuff, right? Now include Randuin's Locket, Turbo Chemtank, Shirelia's Battle Song, Yomu's Ghostblade, Gore Drinker, Stridebreaker, and Prowly's Claw. And oh, nice! So minions spell shard can no longer drop redemption. You can only get redemption now if someone uses it around you, and then you pick it up. That's so nice. Oh my god, it was so lucky when Zoe would get redemption in lane, and just use it, and like she just instantly win a trade or heal up. Like, oh my god, it was so insane. Actually, a lot of these are good actives, so I feel like this is kind of still a nice change for her. But I guess it could be a voice change because some people just wouldn't want some of these. I'm just kind of glad they can't get redemption. Oh my god, getting redemption early was so insane. Essence Weaver now you gain 40% of the mana from the damage dealt from Spellblade now, instead of just 3% max mana. So kind of nice here, as the users who want it are probably getting more mana than they used to. The Gale Force cooldown went up to 90 from 60 seconds, and this applies to the Orin upgrade, which is called Orin's Typhoon. So both have a 90-second cooldown. Yeah, it's Gale Force mana is pretty heavy, so it makes sense. Hextech Rocket Belt now gives 30% speed for 1.5 seconds to 50% for 2 seconds. Yeah, this is probably to force people like Set and not Set, my bad, Galia and stuff to go Chem Tank instead of Rocket Belt if they want the speed. Because some people were just using Rocket Belt purely like Chem Tank for speed, and it was just a bonus that it had damage. So if they want more speed, they probably want to force them onto Chem Tank. Mandate applies when an initial application of slow and increase immobilizes, and ally consumes the mark. Interesting, really interesting, because that essentially means the same, right? Yeah, it does, as long as your teammates are hitting it. They just want to change the wording on it. Kraken Slayer got a pretty big nerf this patch if you played in these 3 champions. So before or previously, when using these champions on hit modifications like Katarina's ultimate, Urgot's W, Purge, or Sivirium's Q Onslaught, which is the dual wield for Aphelios where he hits with both guns, they would proc Kraken at full efficiency. And usually these abilities have an on-hit modification. So for Urgot's Purge, all of his auto attacks only deal 33% damage. With Kraken, he was able to deal 100% of it. So if Kraken wasn't doing 100, he was doing 100. But now with this new update, he'll do 33 if Kraken's doing 100. So these 3 champions' abilities will now respect the on-hit modification of Kraken. So pretty big nerf there, especially for Katarina. She is definitely the outlier here with her AD build on how much damage she can just apply during her ultimate. Shirelia's Battle Song got updated pretty hard, so it went from 350 health to 200 health, and no longer gains bonus move speed. It now grants 40 AP, and now has 100% mana regen instead of 50%. And the build path is a Kindle Gem, a Bandle Glass Mirror, and 750 gold. I personally think that this is probably a better build path here for people like Karma, Lulu, and stuff who want to build it to get a little bit more HP, still get the AP, and have the speed. Puts it more in line with other support mythics. It's just how valuable is it over the other support mythics. as most people still really like going Mandate, and Moonstaff is the new kid on the block. Buffing Stoneplate here is pretty insane. You went from 3% of the fortified bonus armor and MR to 5% up to max 25. So every time someone hits you, you see a 3% bonus armor and MR increase for every unique enemy champion that hits you. Now it's 5%. So as a tank player, you'd usually get this last, and it is a nuts item that people are getting slept on. So seeing it buff is pretty crazy. I mean, given the premium price you pay for a Stoneplate, it's not quite powerful enough. Interesting. I felt like every time a Cho'Gath or a true tank built this 4/5, it was insanely powerful, but I could be wrong, I guess. Definitely makes me want to build it more. Lethality items also got reduced in gold a little bit. So Umbro's down 200 gold, loses 5 AD, but different build path. Same with Serpent's Fang here, loses 200 gold and loses 5 AD. Nothing crazy. I mean, honestly, if anything, it's better because you get the utility of these items online faster. And Chempunk Chainsword is down 100 gold and is down 50 health. Nice changes. You just get the items faster. I mean, these items shouldn't be more for the stats. They are more for the utility of what the item brings to the table. They also changed the build path here from Phantom Dancer and run-ins, so you get more attack speed as you build the item, and then more attack speed at the end result with a 5% increase, which is really nice. And some pretty controversial changes. They changed the tank mythic. So now Sunfire, which the mythic passive I had was 5 ability haste per other item you have, it now has 5% tenacity and slow resist per other item you have. So a lot of people have been saying this is a nerf and a buff, because then they get to have less haste to put out less damage to abilities, but at the same time now they don't get CC and they'll be able to auto tech more to put out more of the Sunfire damage. So really interesting change. It depends what tank you were playing to see this from. And then both Chem Tank and Frostfire lost 25 of a defense. So Frostfire lost 25 armor, gained 5 haste, went down 400 gold. Chem Tank lost 25 MR, got 5 haste, and went down 2,000 gold or 4,000 gold as well. So both of them went down in a similar fashion, and it changes the build path quite a little bit as well. Chem Tank no longer has the 5% tenacity and slow resist, and now has 5 ability haste per other item you or legendary item you have. Interesting changes. People are upset about this, but the grand scheme of it, it's kind of a nice change because you get to come online faster as a tank, and you'll guess those resistances to other items anyway. So having a 25-25 split is probably okay. I know for in the terms of Chem Tank, it's gonna be nice because then people like Skarner get to come on much faster. Ruins 2% per bounty on the hunter stack gives you 11% maximum omnivamp. Now it's 1.7%, so the max you get is 9.5%. So taking down the amount of omnivamp you could have, which is really nice because omnivamp is incredibly strong, and this is the only way to get it unless you buy Eclipse or Riftmaker. So a lot of people are trying to slot in Ravenous Hunter where they can. So definitely a good nerf here and a well needed one, because this rune isn't a keystone and it heals more than any keystone in the game right now. So definitely a big change here. And then we have smaller changes that I just won't go through. If you want, you can pause the screen if you want to read these bug fixes or ARAM changes. And the new rune skins will come out in here with the Shanghais as well, and these Chromas as well. So that about does it for the patch. Overall, it was a decent patch. Not too many changes, but a good patch nonetheless. I definitely expect to see Moonstaff addressed in the next patch. It's a really popular build. And if you don't know what Moonstaff is, it's the combination of Moonstone and Staff of Flowing Water. It's a build theoried and popularized by LS and Nemesis, and is now reaching LCS debut and is leaking into solo queue games. It'll probably be addressed in the next patch. But until then, guys, thank you for watching, and if you did watch till the very end, you know, comment down below Oreos. Always love seeing if anyone did. And you know, subscribe, because we do other league content here, and I try to be posting a little bit more. And I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so if you come, I should be streaming about now on Twitch as well if you want to ask me any questions there or just hang out. But until then, guys, stay safe, enjoy the rest of your day.